There is a tiny detail that I did not mention when I told you about Miss Dawson's pool. Whoever looks in it sees much more than their reflection. In fact, it is said that if you spend enough time looking at the reflections on the water, you see past events of the town. But the really disturbing thing is that if you spend too much time staring at the surface of the water in that pool, you enter a state from which you will never return. That's probably what happened to Ms. Dawson herself. There is another curious aspect surrounding Peak Town. Terry Whitby's scarecrow. Mr. Whitby was a local farmer, famous for his hatred of birds. He really hated them. He built this scarecrow himself. He did a good job, no doubt. But the strangest thing happened when Whitby died. After his death, every morning, a different scarecrow appeared each time. It was as if the scarecrow that Whitby made changed its appearance daily, and for no reason. And not only that, the only thing that changing scarecrow did was attract more and more birds. To this day, no one knows why that happened. But the really interesting thing happened later. One morning, suddenly, the scarecrow was gone and the birds stopped coming. The issue was forgotten for years, until suddenly, Whitby's scarecrow reappeared. It did so every day in front of a different house, and with a different shape. And each time it appeared, someone from that house died that same day. The Whitby scarecrow was truly special, don't you think? Many residents of the town became angry at the presence of those scarecrows and set some of them on fire. Since then, those neighbors have disappeared without a trace. And the scarecrows still appear from time to time. At least they no longer appear with the regularity with which they did before. As you know, Peak Town is a peculiar town. Do you remember that I told you that years ago a mysterious fog appeared and stayed in the town for a month? Well, in some places in this town you can perceive that this fog is approaching us once again. With everything that is happening here, it is not difficult to come to the conclusion that things are going to get very interesting here in Peak Town in a very short time. So I am already studying new paths through which, perhaps with a little luck, I can leave this town once and for all. Only God knows what can await me beyond the limits of this town. Before finishing for today, I would like to tell you something that I discovered recently. At the last neighborhood meeting, I was able to see the census list of this town for the first time in my life. There are very few of us left here in Peak Town. Specifically, there are 33 of us who still live here. I don't know why, but these things no longer surprise me. I have talked to the neighbors, and we all agree on one thing. This time, there is something different in the fog.
This is the channel you've been screaming for. Subscribe.